We're live.
Hello!
Hello!
Hello, little lads.
Hey, what's up?
I love how all three of you are hungover and tired, and I'm not. And
I know,
usually it's the other fucking way around.
It's very different than
It's fucking
normal.
opposite. Welcome to Opposite Day. I'm brothers from another mother.
And John, don't think I didn't notice that you ran a comb through that hair of yours. It looks good, brother.
Oh, thank you. I know, because you know why? Because I've actually been up for a little while. Usually you see me wrapping awake for 5 minutes, and I'm like,
Yeah, man. I hopped up this morning. I talked to my daughter for a little bit, and I'm like, go back to bed. I'm going back to bed.
What'd you guys talk about?
Just about yesterday, her birthday. One of her presents is something that I tried getting her for the last 2 years and couldn't secure it. But her, one of her grandmothers was able to get it yesterday. My daughter is obsessed with wolves.
Uh-huh.
I wonder where she gets that from.
Right?
Yeah, has been forever.
Show off your new tattoo, Dad.
Yeah, she has been forever. And there's this wolf sanctuary in Naples called Shy Wolf.
Yeah.
And if you pay, you get to spend 2 hours with the wolves.
Right, you can touch them and shit. Yeah.
Oh, man, I hope Carol Baskin comes to shut that place down.
Never happened, dude. This place is fucking world famous.
Oh, yeah.
And
So is Joe Exotic.
I want to go to there.
yeah, so we're going.
Wolves International, worldwide, wide.
Oh!
I'm taking her down there in October, and like her mouth dropped when she saw what the present was.
Nice.
How old is she now?
She's 11, bro.
Right on, man.
Which makes me feel very old.
I hope that we're still doing this show in some form or another in the next 5 to 6 years when she starts going to dances and dating.
Oh,
Just
God.
so I can get those stories from you.
Yeah, my crotchety old ass. And then this bitch said this.
So who wants to start the topic game out today?
Doug?
I'm gonna say
I
John
have
or
no
Doug.
Nope, I've got... And we are going live next to Johnny. Move forward.
What in the actual fuck was that? All right. So I thought about 2 segments that I would like to start doing on the podcast. One is the story time with Uncle Johnny, which we'll do later. But the other one
He saw me going for it.
Yeah, I know. Hold.
God, that would have been so funny, though.
Jamie, no. Jamie, no.
So funny to just cut him
Bad
off, though.
Jamie. Bad Jamie. No. So, but the other one is going to be John's hot dogs, and this is what I want for the graphic. I want an audio bite of Peter North coming, and I want it to say John's hot dogs.
Damn,
so Paul, make it happen. Yeah.
You got a better shot at Bill.
And if you don't know who Peter North is, you're too young for this show, so you probably shouldn't be watching.
He's the one white dick guys like us had to look up to when we were growing up in the game.
Absolutely. I've learned all my skills from the man. He's a national treasure.
When you said hot docs, I'm like, wait, we're gonna start doxing people?
No,
like
on anybody.
Like docking, docking.
Yeah, no. I heard it a completely different way.
Yeah, you know, Bob, because it's a circle. It's a circle.
Peter North and doxing people? Okay, whatever.
If you find a person who's uncircumcised, you can make the docking airtight.
Oh my God. Ooh. Fill her up and seal her shut.
I think John's frozen.
Yeah, he froze before we went on.
Yeah, you did.
That or he's a master of standing still.
You should create a segment graphic called John Frozen in Time. So when this happens, you just throw that up.
Oh man.
John, leave and come back.
I'm texting him. Holy shit is.
I think he got the message.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, last night I didn't know because last night your power went out and Joe and I were live streaming for I don't know how long before you got power again, which I thought was fascinating that we kept going and even in spite of you not being there to lead the charge.
That's good to know that this runs on the server and not my computer. I'm a big fan of that.
Yeah, but then we had to carry the show, and I was pretty lit.
It was max 5. It was max 5 minutes. I got the generator up and running pretty darn quick.
Every episode we do feels like an eternity because I lose track of time, and but when I go back and look and see how long we did, we keep going longer and longer and longer. So it may have been 5 minutes, but to me it was an eternity. Oh, excuse me.
I'm not gonna lie. I want to get on the couch, cover myself with my golden retrievers in a blanket, and just binge watch Yellowstone.
Oh yeah,
it is. I'm about an hour into it now. The first episode. It's hour and a half episodes, by the way. Which
really every one of them?
I don't know, but the first episode's like an hour and a half.
Okay,
maybe.
I think the regular episodes are an hour. I think the pilot episode was an hour and a half.
Here, real quick. This will be all stop. Yeah, so Yellowstone, I don't know. If you know, have you seen it, Dan? Bob? Dan, I'm sorry.
No, not yet.
The first episode, it's... First episode, it leads right in, and it shows up... do you guys care? Do you guys want me to spoil this for you?
Well... I mean, you go ahead. I'm gonna watch, but I already have it in my queue. I plan on watching it at some point.
Yeah, I have it set up, but
okay. Well,
we got Peacock last.
The first 3 minutes don't spoil any of the show, but I thought it was a beautiful way of opening the show. It starts off with a horse, like you're just looking at a horse from like here up, and he's staring at the camera, and then it cuts to a side-by-side scene where Kevin Costner and the horse, he's got like his head on the horse, and his head is just bleeding. Like he's just got blood coming down his head, and he's got his head pressed up against the horse, and he starts talking softly, and he's like, "You know, buddy, I know life's not fair, and it's not fair to you." And he's like, the only thing I can give you," and as soon as he's like, "The only thing I can give you," it starts panning out, and the horse is trapped in a horse trailer that was in a car accident. Like it's mangled up, and the horse is like from the neck up, it's crunched in this car. And you could tell he was driving the truck, and there was this big like construction machine that crashed into him and flipped it. And the horse is just now you could realize the horse is in pain. And he goes, "The only thing I can give you is a revolver out of his holster," puts it right up, and you could tell like this horse is like his pet, like his baby, and he just puts one right underneath the chin and drops it. And I'm like, "You got me. I'm watching." Now. I'll finish the full episode, even if it's bad.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch that. I threw it in the queue, and then I did when I was going through all of what Peacock had. I didn't realize how much shit Peacock had. Like they have a separate segment called The Office Superfan Episodes, where they've taken favorite episodes of The Office and added a ton of deleted shit back into them to make them longer. But they did make a season 2 of Ruthless Aggression, and that's what I started watching this morning. Ultimately, when I saw that, I got excited and just went right into it. So
yeah, and one of the things I like about Yellowstone is as I got more into the episode, as soon as I got more into the episode, I'm like looking at this chick, who's relatively older, mid-40s, but still attractive, and of course I pull out the old Google box and I type in Yellowstone cast, find her, and then I type in the word nude. And as I'm going to hit search, I look up at the screen, and she's ass naked, spread out on a dresser, getting railed out. And I'm like, well, I like it when a show makes me not have to search for this.
NBC.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing I like is because it's a pay to play show. They put nudity and swearing in it, and it's very adult themed.
They should
It's
do
not
that
an
with.
NBC show.
They should do a SNL After Dark on Peacock where they like let's incorporate nudity into the sketches now.
Yeah, because everyone wants to see Pete Davidson naked.
Paul does.
I just want to see his dick. I don't want to see him. I don't want to see a full body shot. I just want to see his dick with a relation, like a ruler on the screen in relationship to the size. I want to know. And if it's not over fucking 8 inches, I'm gonna be mad at the world.
Based on Pete, like I said last night, Big J. People who've seen photos of it on his phone that when he showed them, they said that it rests soft when he lays on his back. They said Big J said it rests soft above his belly button. He's like, it's the biggest white dick I've ever seen in my life. So yeah, I kind of want to see it just because I'm into oddities and stuff, you know.
In the words of Matt Stone from Basketball, I'm not queer nothing, but I just want to see that dick.
That was actually Orgasmo, not basketball. But
oh, yeah, you're right.
Well, it's Orgasmo.
It was Orgasmo.
I don't want to sound like queer nothing, but I kind of want to make love to you right now.
I think unicorns are kick ass.
I think you. Yeah, I don't know about you, but I really like the Depeche Mode. Everything about that movie is great. When they pan back at the party when he says I really want to make love to you right now, and they're at that giant party and there's this what do they call it, the mariachi band playing, and they all got like their collars and shit, and then the camera pans around and they're all butt ass naked. From the back.
They're all wearing their bow ties. And that's it.
Oh, such a good movie.
I guess we'll go into my.
Did John text you, Paul, or is he still?
He said he's rebooting his router.
Okay. I got to hack back into the mainframe, Paul.
Reroute the encryption.
Plug me in.
But Yellowstone, yeah. My last thing on this, I highly recommend it. I kind of told Doug it reminds me of like a country version, backwoods version of like The Departed, where Kevin Costner plays the Jack Nicholson character. It's not bloody or violent in that aspect. It's like he's the patriarch of Bozeman, Montana, and like progress in corporate America is coming in to, do what progress in corporate America does in a country setting. And like Kevin Costner is not about to let it happen. Like that's what you could tell the show is based on. Like he's going to shut this shit down in its tracks and he's going to do it the old school cowboy way.
How many seasons is it? 3 right now?
3, but I don't know if all the seasons are on Peacock. I think the 3rd season is on Paramount Plus. I don't know how this all works out. I'm going to figure that out once I continue on. All right, we'll go to Bob's.
Oh, go ahead. I was going to say, I know Paramount Plus does have the prequel series 1883 with Sam Neill. Not Sam Neill.
Sam Elliott. And we can talk about that in my topics.
Okay.
Okay, so it's funny you brought up Sam Neill because he made the news
for Jurassic World Dominion.
No, sorry, Sam Elliott. My bad.
Oh,
from
okay.
1883. So there is a cowboy movie out starring Benedict Cumberbatch.
I heard about this briefly.
Sam Elliott went the fuck off about how it's a horrible movie. It's a disservice to cowboys. And basically, it's a movie about gay cowboys. So clearly, the man has never heard of Brokeback Mountain. Yeah, I mean, he went off forever because the tagline is something like destroying the American myth of the West. Because, come on now, if you think dudes weren't fucking other dudes back then, you've got another thing coming. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it's Bob. Or Jeff. I use Bob as a generic name, not you. I should have meant another. God, I got to pick people who aren't on the show. Tim.
It's just one of those things. It's like people are going to do what. If there's a hole, people are going to find it. But my other topic is one, and this. Paul will know what I'm talking about. I had never heard of this term until yesterday, and I found it fascinating. And the term is stolen valor.
Yeah. There's a lot of videos online of people going after people for that.
And that's how I found about it. It just randomly popped up in my feed, and I was like, what the fuck is going on? So I started watching it, and I'm like, okay, let me understand all this. Like, so these people are lying completely about being in the service. They're doing all this, and I start thinking, okay, we all exaggerate our tales to some extent, right? But these people have lied about something
They
that
never
isn't
did.
really even, yeah, they never really did at all. That isn't something to be joked about. That is something people fucking died over,
Mhm.
and it's like, man, what gets in your head to make you think that is okay, and what are you trying to gain other than, like, the ones I saw seem to be people panhandling?
It's
Well,
I don't
I'm just speaking out loud. Like, I literally,
I,
like,
I
what
don't
are you trying to gain from lying about something like that?
so it go ahead.
I was just
Go
gonna
right
say
ahead,
there.
bud.
I'm not gonna cut, but I was gonna say there. I look at it because I've seen a bunch of those videos too. Like there was a point where I went down a YouTube jag like you did, where it popped in my feed, and there are people who I just genuinely believe are in life try and be grift. They try and grift the system. They try and grift everything. That's just there are some people
Yeah.
like that. Some of the people on the video, however, I do feel bad for because there are people who are clearly either slow or have mental issues
Mhm.
that aren't necessarily doing it to like talk up a big game or like, hey, I did this. It was more from what the few that I've seen of those people legitimately just seem like this is my way of paying tribute. I love the Army. I love Marines. I like wearing this because I love these. You know what I mean? Like when you're a kid, you look up to G.I. Joe, and I look at those ones as that. But
Yeah, so I think I have like a different take on this as a veteran. I look at the stolen valor thing. I compartmentalize it. I think there's different types of stolen valor. There's the people who are mentally ill, who maybe wanted to serve, couldn't serve, or had a reason they couldn't serve, a medical reason, and they wear a uniform around that they got at a military surplus. And if they're just wearing a uniform around, like a secondhand uniform, and just walking around because they feel it gives them pride or they have special needs, that one doesn't bother me. Like as long as they're not trying to game any system, like get a 10% at Home Depot or get a free appetizer
Yeah.
at Applebee's.
get a hand job
Then
or
there,
first. Go ahead.
yeah, then there are the people who do it specifically to get the 10% off at Home Depot, to get the free appetizer at Applebee's.
Somebody in first class wants to give you their seat.
Yeah, stuff like that. And this is where I start to have a little I get a little upset about it. It super doesn't bother me, but I still can understand why people get pissed. Then there's people who take care who do it to try to game the monetary organizations. Because if you are a veteran, especially disabled veteran, there are a lot of private organizations and government organizations that I'm all very familiar with that will literally give you money for different things you have going on in your life. And it's funny you brought this up. There was a big one. There's a chick, I can't remember what state she's in, but she went to school for nursing. She became a nurse, and she completely fabricated a DD-214, which is the official military document of release. Started, basically saying she was a war hero, and her DD-214 showed that she had a Bronze Star, a Silver Star, which you have to be in the shit of the shit to get, and with a V for Valor device on one of the Bronze Stars. And she took advantage of Wounded Warrior Project to pay for housing and pay for bills and stuff. And then she got into the local American Legion. She became the post commander for her local American Legion. Never served a day in her life. Never served a day in her life, and they made her the post commander. And she was getting VA benefits. That's the one that blew me off. She did such a good job of forging everything. The VA took her in and was giving her benefits. Well, she got cancer, and the VA started looking into shit, and she's like, well, don't worry about it. I'll go somewhere else to get my cancer. So she went to a private organization, not Wounded Warrior Project. I believe it was called Seven Mountains or Mountain 7. It's a great organization. I apologize for not remembering the name off the top of my head. And they were the first organization who's looking at her DD-214 and like, you did this? You did this in 2006? That's really weird. Like, okay. And they started digging into it. and then figured out she forged everything, found the real service members, DD-214 she forged. And by this point, she was working for the VA. She got a job at the
Jesus.
VA because of this too. And so that shows you the competency of the federal government off the top of the head. But this private organization finally caught her, and man, she is getting dragged through the bad PR, which she should. So
Right.
so when it comes to stolen valor, I compartmentalize on how upset I get and how pissed I get.
The little snippets I saw, it was all like a little supercut type of video, and so you see this guy. The first one was just some guy like walking down the street, and this guy approaches him, and he's like, "Hey, thanks for your service." And the guy turns around, and he's like, "Thanks. Oh, you want a picture?" And the guy's like, "Yeah." He's like, "I love meeting veterans and talking to them." And then he starts questioning. Hello.
Is that his
His
phone?
cell phone?
Yeah, Comcast is having internet problems in his area.
Yep.
He sent the text out with it.
Turn the phone sideways.
Yeah, turn your phone. There you go.
And get an iPhone. God, the quality sucks on that thing.
But so anyway, the guy's talking, and now we got a different freeze.
That thing has touched his dick more than anything else in this world.
Is that why it's all blurry around? Because he hasn't wiped
his
off
palm.
the lens.
It's his palm. This is the shot you're getting right now.
Yeah.
So, Bob, sorry, you're saying?
So he starts asking the guy. He's like, "So, you were deployed here, and here." He's like, "You do know that you only get one of each of those for each deployment, and you claim to have been in Iraq twice, so one of those shouldn't exist." And then he starts pointing out everything wrong with this dude's uniform. And I was like, "Oh, shit." And the guy's like, "Listen, man, I was actually in the 101st Airborne, and I lost 3 of my brothers, and you take that fucking thing off right now and you throw it in the garbage or I'm going to hurt you." Like, it got real escalated real fast.
They don't fuck around, dude.
And I mean, but I don't blame the guy. I understand he lost family members. I understand he lost friends.
Yeah.
This guy, it looked like he was using it to he was in an airport, and it looked like he was trying to just get recognition as he walked through the airport, is what it looked to me.
Well, every airport has a USO, and if you go into the USO, you get free food, free drinks.
Gotcha. So
like
you said, gaming the system.
Yeah, like Rachel Dolezal. Like, she was the chapter president of Spokane, Washington's NAACP, but we all know that story outcome.
And that's just it. Any veteran who sees somebody like that on the street, all you got to do is talk to them for 30 seconds and just ask basic questions, and you're gonna quickly find out that they're a fraud. And I think what's most insulting is, like what you said, people who don't take the time. If you're gonna fabricate this lie that you know is gonna piss people off, that's why I say that the mental illness ones don't bother me that much, because they don't know any better. But the people who are gaming the system, if you don't even take the time to make sure your uniform looks accurate, which you can go online to any military standards website to do, like, you don't even deserve a free hot dog and a soda.
Yeah,
you guys just helped me write like a sketch that's only funny to me, but like, you're talking about, like, I want to see like a smash cut video now of people confronting stolen valor, but it's all people like just people who are so dumb they're wearing like Nazi memorabilia. It's like, take that fucking jacket off, man.
And Bob, if you continue to watch stolen valor videos, there are some out there where you could tell people like have like Down syndrome,
SS patches,
and I hate when people, like, when veterans like what that
go
guy
after
did.
them.
Like, it's like, come on, man. Like,
this person isn't trying to.
Yeah, they're not trying to get,
they love GI Joe in
unlimited
America.
benefits. Yeah, exactly. And that's why I say, like,
but it is. They love America.
I tell everybody to and I try to tell it to veterans. I'm like, hey, when it comes to stolen valor, just compartmentalize it. Realize what you're dealing with, and if you think somebody's frauding, don't get in a fight with anybody for them wearing a uniform. Don't get in a physical altercation where you can go to jail. I tell every veteran that.
Unless it's Chick-fil-A.
And what?
Fuck Chick-fil-A. Go ahead, Paul. Sorry.
But understand the situation, and I have no problem with somebody confronting somebody. and just saying like, "Hey, man, respectfully, please take that off. I know you're full of shit. I know you're lying, but like, know the situation. That's all I'm saying."
Yeah.
Yeah, know your place, dummy.
Yeah, it's something I'd never heard of, and I was like, every once in a while I'm shocked at the idiocy of some people, and I know I shouldn't be, but I was just like, holy shit, man.
Do you want to hear the level of somebody's idiocy when it comes to that? Okay, the word valor. You just found out what stolen valor those videos were. Okay, I didn't find out what the word valor was pronounced valor until the first Medal of Valor game came out on PS2. Because I remember working at Bell Tower with Mike Musser and talking about like all the games that were coming out that I want to play. I'm like, this new game's coming out and it looks amazing. It's called Medal of Valor. And he's like, excuse me? And I'm like, yeah, Medal of Valor. It looks amazing. And he's like, it's Medal of Valor. And I'm like, what's that? I genuinely thought it was pronounced velour for the longest time, man. Well into my 20s.
We're from very similar fields. You work in education, I work in cleaning up education.
You know, when I was, I've always been into electronics, and when I was first figuring out how impedance worked, I pronounced it impotence.
Been there. So,
Thanks,
Yes.
thanks, Joe Biden.
let's go, Brandon.
Fucking let's go, Brandon. Indeed, this shit didn't happen when Trump was president.
I wish we could right now. I want to play that new Kid Rock song where that's the hook of the song. Let's go, Brandon. I fucking love that song.
I'm very, very sorry to hear that.
I don't like Kid Rock.
That's because that's okay. We got two Patriots
Wait,
in the room.
that's because I what? Hold on.
I said, that's okay. It's because you don't love America. It's all right.
Is that what it is?
Patriots over here, bro. Patriots over here.
Good for you guys, man. I just prefer my rock stars not to be dirty fucking marble smoking.
Yeah, I prefer my music artists to be former pimps and crack dealers like Too Short.
I will be willing to guarantee that a good majority of the rock stars you like smoke Marlboros.
Claudio definitely smokes Reds. He did at one point.
Yeah, he doesn't smoke anything anymore.
Oh, he quit? I didn't know.
Yeah.
I haven't followed up with him, but
there's something about Kid Rock, his personality just eats me alive, and it started with that Ba with the Boss song. I couldn't get.
Oh, you mean the beginning of his career?
Yeah, I couldn't get into the dude at all, man.
Oh, you mean it started from the beginning?
this is good.
Well, you see, it really started. It really started when
I first saw him, and
I started.
That's where the problem started.
It started in February of '78 when his mom squeezed him out.
She said, "Let me tell you something, kid. There's going to be two hits: you hitting the floor and Kid Rock's Ba with the Ba playing in the background."
Kid Rock proved that the most southern white trash state in the union is in fact Michigan.
Hell yeah, brother!
I wear it with a badge of pride because I live at home in a trailer.
Oh,
I was extremely proud back in 2020 when the lockdown started, and the first armed militia to show up at a state like house, like the governor's mansion, was our state. We got that pride, baby. Michigan militia still hard and strong.
The free men. We're the free men of the UP.
Well, I mean, it's kind of hard not to be free when there's nothing around you but fucking deer and trees.
That's why we value it so much. People come in wanting our oil and precious resources.
I was watching. I'll tell you. I'll tell you.
You know, you're right, Doug. Because when Red Dawn happens, they're going straight to fucking Iron Mountain, baby.
Oh my God! If only.
That's where they want to. That's where they want to take over.
They won't. That's why it's a beautiful place to live.
I right now, Paul, build my graphic. This moment, 29 minutes. John frozen in time. Graphic needs to be built.
What?
29 minutes, 46
it's
seconds.
frozen again.
Oh.
Man, that's the longest drag of
But yeah, man, the Sam Elliott thing I just found really strange. Like, what
What did he say? What exactly did he say?
So he went off about how the Cowboys were dressed like Chippendales dancers, which they weren't. They're just dressed like cowboys.
In
And he's
18, like in this new show, in this new movie.
in this new movie, and it's getting like tons of Oscar buzz. And he's like, "It's all a bunch of fucking bullshit. You want to talk about that piece of shit?" And I mean, he just goes off.
Isn't he the star of it?
No. He's the star of this TV show. And they asked him about this new movie that's getting all this Oscar buzz.
What's the new movie called?
Fuck.
Oh yeah, I don't know that one. The Benedict Cumberbatch one.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know that. I don't know the name of that one. I have no interest in it because I'm just not interested in. I mean, there's not a lot of cowboy stories these days that interest me. I'd be honest with you. Yellowstone and 1883 are the first ones that I can think of in recent years that have kind of grabbed my attention as like, oh, that looks really good. Based on the trailers.
The first headline is Sam Elliott canceled after brutally slamming Benedict Cumberbatch's movie.
The Power of Dog?
Yep.
Let's cancel somebody for having an opinion.
For its allusions to homosexuality and Chippendale dancers. And it was on Mark Maron's podcast where it happened.
First off, they look like Mormon cowboys.
So that is pretty gay right off the bat.
Like I'm watching the trailer right now. It doesn't look like cowboys. It looks like.
Well, bring it up on the thing so we can watch it together. I want to see.
Okay, I'm gonna do it with no sound. Hopefully, we won't get copyright struck that way.
Okay.
Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. I live at home in a trailer.
Bow, bow, bow. I can tell you the color of the way the picture looks. I like it already.
It's officially selected for the Venice Film Festival, the New York Film Festival, and Toronto Film Festival. Like that means it's good.
I hope they're.
I know Bob only had an hour to record too, so in like 20 minutes he's got to stop. So I think I'm out for today.
Okay, well, you're on the podcast. Do you have any departing words you want to tell everybody? I got you piped in.
Hey, do you want to do?
Man,
Do you want
I
to?
was so looking forward to this week's episode. I had lots of good stuff, but guess we just have to try for next Sunday. This is all Joe Biden's fault. This is Russia invading my internet, and he should have stopped them.
They're Putin on the Ritz. You know what I'm saying?
Putin on the Ritz.
Hey.
Absolutely. I love you guys. I'm sorry.
Hey, Doug wants me to say something to you. He's
Let's
going.
try to record next Sunday at noon.
Okay, hang on. Doug wants me to relay something. What do you got, Doug?
I was gonna say, keep him on the phone. Have him do his topics over the speakerphone. He sounds crystal clear.
Doug was saying, "How about you just do your topics over the phone? We can go to that. We like it's up to you. What do you want to do?"
I'd rather just wait and do it when we can record properly.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
All
right, man.
Shit.
All right, man. I'll talk to you guys later.
Talk to you later.
All right, man. Later. So yeah, I mean,
I'll watch it. I mean, I'll watch it based on how it looked. Visually, it looked beautiful. But I do have, if that is the crux, that kid and Benedict, is that what I'm thinking? They're supposed to be lovers in the movie?
I can't tell. I haven't.
They had that real strong sharing embrace where he was grabbing his head, and it was very scene of Yellowstone with the horse and Kevin Costner.
It could also be like a father figure type thing too, though. I mean,
and
I
that's
have no idea.
That's what I'm hoping it is, because I don't have a problem with anybody wanting to be with anybody or love anybody, but we've talked about it, where I draw the line is below the belt of age consent and shit. And now, in this particular instance, it's something I've noticed when Bob and I worked at the Lee County when Bob and I worked for the schools down in Southwest Florida. One of the schools I delivered to, and I don't know if you went and trimmed the lawns there, I'm sure, but remember Lehigh Middle. The building supervisor, who I won't name, was a gay man in his mid to late 50s, and one of the nicest guys I've ever met. Hardworking dude, always took care of his crew, brought in like satellite TV for his crew in the break room and shit. But every time I would go to deliver, in the time that he worked there, he ended up getting fired because he got caught stealing. But in the time I worked there, he brought in 3 different boyfriends that he shoehorned in and gave them like premium, well-paying jobs on his crew. Mm-hmm. And he had them living at his house. And I'm not joking when I say this, but it was like Joe Exotic in a sense. Like he had multiple dudes, and they were all underage, within like 16 to 17. And I found after getting to know him, that's actually a common trend amongst older gay men, and nobody seems to give a fuck about it. And I don't understand why. Like it's always fucked with my head.
Of all the older gay men, I know most of them, but I
Not
know
all
personally, the ones I know personally never dated underage people. I did know some people, say in their 60s, that would date people in their like mid to late 20s.
And I have no
But I
problem
never
with
knew
that.
I never knew anybody underage.
Yeah, like there were two of them in particular. I remember one of them created a nasty thing for him, like because he ended up breaking up with them, and the guy was living with all of them, and like he had a job, and the kid was like 16 or 17. At one point he started telling people in the kitchen and me and people that would just come in and talk to him that he was waiting for his current boyfriend to turn 18 so he could drive to New York and get legally married to him. And I'm like, why are you saying this shit out loud? Why are you acknowledging that you're with somebody who's criminally underage? It boggles my mind. And
because in our society, men can't be raped.
Oh fucking shit!
Haven't you ever seen that movie with Michael Douglas and what's her face, Demi Moore? Disclosure, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
It can happen.
I agree, it can happen. What I'm saying is, we as a society, it's the same thing with school teachers. Like when it's a male teacher to a female student. That's when everybody loses their shit, which they should. I'm not saying they shouldn't. But when a Mary Kay Letourneau happens, the fathers of the boys are like, that's my boy. And don't get me wrong, I would have loved to have had that happen to me as a fucking teen.
Well, me too. I can tell you about 3 teachers off the top of my head at Riverdale that I would.
Well, for you, I know Nancy Bell right off the top.
My number one, next to Mr. Lathan. I went in a 3-way with her.
You're talking about linebacker Bell, right?
Yeah,
he obviously did not watch 2 weeks ago or the 2 episodes ago of our show.
I've been.
We had a whole segment on Nancy Bell
nonstop, man. I didn't get home till 4 a.m. the last few nights, and
we went into a segment all about Miss Bell, and to the point where Kim started like commenting in on Miss Bell. It was pretty awesome.
That's funny. So I've got a video. Hopefully I'll have it. I'm going to try to upload it to the drive, Paul, and it's just a reactionary video from something that happened last night on one of my drives.
Okay.
So I'm driving these 2 people home. I'll just give a brief description. I'm driving these people. They're down to visit their families, and their families live in this big ass, rich gated community. And we pull up, and there's a car going in. She's like, "Oh, don't worry, you can make it behind that car." And I'm like, okay. So I go to follow this car in, and this giant iron gate starts slowly coming at my car. Like, I'm not even halfway in. And I have to fucking Tony Stewart my car sideways to get around this gate. And these people are like, "Oh, shit!" And they're freaking out, and they're like, "Wow, you're fucking really good at driving." I'm like, "Thanks. You better tip me really well, dude." I think I almost pissed myself because this is a fucking heavy gate in a place that you don't want to hit,
Is it one of the gates that go like this, or does it swing?
It swings right at the car.
Yeah, I know.
And that motherfucker was coming right at my door. Well, her door, and I'm like, shit.
You got that on video?
Yeah, I'm like, I don't care what you say. I'm like, this is getting saved, and I hit the button right then. And
I'll have to send you 2 videos that Gabe sent to me yesterday because. Where we are yesterday, we had freezing rain, and like I was talking about last night, it's the first time in my life where I've ever actually experienced freezing rain on that level, like that quickly, how it just iced everything over. And Gabe was sending me security videos from the store yesterday, periodically, of the side camera parking lot at the dispensary, and you could see cars coming down the hill, pulling into the parking lot, and not having their brakes properly put on as they're coming down. And when they go to make the turn, they just start just like circular turning. There was multiple videos he sent me of that.
My bottom step is under my overhang, but the rain was coming in sideways where it hit the bottom step, and I didn't realize it.
Oh.
First time I took the dogs out yesterday morning.
On your back?
I went, no, I slipped, and then as I was falling, I thought to turn around like that on my front, and I skinned my leg up, and I took the tip of my finger off.
God damn. Yeah,
it is crazy.
That's so. Tree Line, right, Doug?
Mm-hmm. One of my favorite schools.
So I live on Tree Line, literally right next to the school.
Okay.
That I live in that
It's
community.
a beautiful area.
And so right beside my community a couple days ago, me and Mom were going out to breakfast, and I went to take a right, and the cops had everything shut off, and I was like, the fuck? And Rachel was pulling out, and I'm like, honey, you can't go that way. So she went the other way and had to go a long way to work. And she texted me a link that she couldn't open because she was driving, and it was Lee County's Twitter. I opened it up. It was a fatal accident between some vehicle and a motorcycle. And I'm assuming the motorcycle lost this battle because past our community, there's kind of that blind S curve. And then there's another community. Well, in 2 hours later, I came home down the other end of tree line, and they still had that side blocked off. But you could see it looked like somebody was coming out of that community, and the bike had been flying the other direction, and they just collided. Because people on bikes through here tend to go over 100 miles an hour.
Yep.
And if someone was just coming out of that community and looked left, didn't see anything, they're going to go, and then all of a sudden that bike's right there. I
think I've told the story on this podcast to you guys before of when there's a guy I worked for at TV Center when I was in high school, and I used to be not just working at TV Center, but he had hired me to babysit his kids when him and his wife would go to hockey games and shit. And they lived over by the golf course off McGregor. Mm-hmm. I can't think of the name of that golf course.
Fort Myers Country Club.
Thank you. He lived literally on the road that had like 3 turnarounds that went all the way down.
I used to live on that road. That's Hill Road.
Yes. Mike Musser used to live over there too. My buddy Mike Musser lived across the street from this person I'm talking about. One night I'm watching the kids and they're all in bed. It's like 11:30. I'm 17, 18, and I'm playing Nintendo 64. That's how old this story is. And I hear a frantic knock on this guy on my boss's door, and I go to answer, and it's a lady in tears, and she's like, I'm in the middle of going somewhere. She's like, I can't do anything about this, but like somebody got into an accident out here. You need to call the cops. And this lady just took off. And so I grabbed the cordless phone. I shut the door behind me, and I started walking around, and I see when you come up from the McGregor to the country club down the road, and you get the first circular turnaround. There was a guy on a motorbike. He was so fucking hammered that when he came to the turnaround, he wasn't paying attention to the turn and just ran right to the median and went flying off his bike. And when I came to him, I saw the bike skidded off into the grass, and he was about 10, 15 feet away on the concrete. And I saw like his leg was snapped and broken, laying under another leg, and his right arm was completely dislocated, and he was laying on it, and I could see his hand moving from like out the side of this part. And his eyes were half open, and I could smell booze on him. And I said, hey, man, I'm like, stay with me. I'm going to call 911. And he's like, no, cops. I'm like, dude, you are not getting up without cops in an ambulance.
Yeah,
right?
It's not happening.
And I never heard what happened from that. But it was like,
it's a very sobering moment to see some shit like that.
It made me never want to ride a motorbike. I tell you that.
I wouldn't do it down here. I mean, the drivers down here, the amount of traffic down here, it's not something I would recommend to anybody. I've lost friends on motorcycles down here.
I need 4 wheels under me. Paul knows that. I'm not good with 2. I'll take the 4 wheel.
I would drive a 3-wheeler, a trike.
Paul's got one.
I'm thinking more like the Can-Am style, where you've got 2 in the front and 1 in the back. But I would drive one of those.
They're definitely safer than.
Oh yeah, than the one in the front. Yeah.
Yeah.
For a minute, the picture that went through my head for a minute was great. Remember, Paul, when we first moved to Fort Myers, Grandma and Grandpa's bikes that we'd ride around their retirement home?
I used to have one of those.
I used to love those.
I used to ride one of those to fucking work.
I miss Grandma and Grandpa's place in Fort Myers. We used to have so much fun going over there riding those bikes.
But what a diamond in the rough that trailer park was.
Dude, that was the first 1996. We moved it was 95. Before we first moved there, we went there for Christmas, and remember they had Santa Claus made signs for us and all that shit. And that was the first time we met. Was it Jamie, the trans person that lived in the park? The old, he born a man living Jamie, right? Is that the name I'm thinking?
I don't remember the name. I know who you're talking. I remember the guy or the girl or whatever.
It's wild It's wild to think about where we are now. Like at that age, that was our first experience with it. There was a trans person living amongst our grandparents' retirement community. It was fucking wild, dude. Really wild.
Yeah.
Kind of look like the Gillette. The name is Ma'am. You know what I mean?
Yes. from
almost
the
identical.
GameStop video. The GameStop, yeah. You're right. That's a great assessment, dude. It's ma'am. Sorry.
Similar voice too.
And super nice. Jamie was really nice.
Yeah, it was super nice. No arguments. Wore Daisy Dukes, and obviously was carrying around a lot of tobacco in the crotch of the Daisy Dukes.
It really was.
Oh man, so there's this guy, and that just made me think of something I saw yesterday. It's an actor. I can't remember the fucking dude's name. He was in Dunkirk, and he was in a couple other
Harry
things.
Styles?
No.
Barry Keoghan?
He's the person who plays the
Barry Keoghan. I
Yeah.
know who you're talking about.
the Pea Stain.
Yeah, he's also from Marvel's Eternals. He was in that. Yeah. He's also in Peaky Blinders. I think he's a main star in one of the main stars.
So like, he posted all these pictures of him like ripped in a pair of shorts to audition for James Bond, and literally you can see like his dick, and there's a fucking wet spot at the end of his dick, like he didn't shake enough, and then didn't look at him before he posted all these photos. Yeah. And people started calling him out, and they're like, "Oh shit!" And it's just like people retweeting it and circling it and zooming in.
We're on the brink of nuclear war, but I love that everyone's
that's a problem.
Got a little dribble in shorts there, mate.
Yeah, like I was like, how is that fucking news? Like, how did that even come across my feed anywhere?
I kind of want to look that up now. That is wild. Some people make the weirdest shit into news stories.
I was like, that's not news. I'm like, I don't even know. Like, I'm just googling this guy because of the Batman. You know, he's the unnamed. He's the unnamed. Prisoner. The unnamed Arkham prisoner.
Yeah, he was. Which I don't know if anybody. I sent the video to the group chat. I'm sure nobody really looked at it, but it's a Matt Reeves, I think, with either GQ or Esquire. A couple days ago, did a 10-minute video talking about that it is the Joker. Not only is he the Joker in that scene, but there is another entire sequence.
Yeah, I know.
That's going to be coming out in Blu-ray and shit. I might watch this when I get home. We didn't know either, Kim, but you can watch it when it's over with. Here's an article. You're talking about how's that news just pops up in your feed, like whatever they can to keep you interested. And off the top, when you said that, I opened up my thing to look for it. And one of the first things at the top of the news story, and it made me chuckle because I know you don't like them, but the tagline is SNL Weekend Updates. Biggest laughs last night came from Ron DeSantis mask shaming teens. And when I read that, we were talking, I just got a grin on my internal head. I'm like, Bob's going to like that.
I saw it when it happened. And bro, one of the kids. So the video, he's at, I want to say it's either USF or UF. I can't remember what school he's at. It's a college. And the kids are doing what they're supposed to do by their school and wearing their masks. And he walks up. He's like, "You don't have to take that shit on," and blah, 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 blah. And these kids take it off, and one kid just shakes his head. He's like, "No," and just fucking leaves it on. Like, go fuck yourself. Like, he's putting a very controversial abortion ban into law here right now. And yeah, Ron DeSantis is not very well liked by people who aren't super red.
There's a lot more red than blue, I think, in Florida, based on the last map I looked at.
51 to 49%, dude.
Is it?
Yeah.
Still a lot of Trump flags down towards Alva and shit.
Not really. It's more just the traditional Alva stuff.
Oh, here it is.
Yeah, watch the guy on the left. He's not taking it off.
Before you play, workforce education, cybersecurity. Is this a program?
University of South Florida. Look at the background.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You do not have to wear those masks. I mean, please take them off. Honestly, it's not doing anything. We got to stop with this code. This theater. So fine, but this is ridiculous.
I don't think that was bad.
To be at USF.
Well, he said
if you want to wear it, you can.
Yeah, that guy and the other one are like, no.
And that's fine.
Well, that guy looks like he might. Oh God, never mind. There's a great joke on the table, but it's not worth doing right now.
I don't think he was mean to the
You do not have
kids.
to wear those masks. I mean, please take them off.
Yeah, I don't-
It's not doing anything. We got to stop with this COVID theater. So if you want to wear it, fine. But this is ridiculous.
You could argue that he comes off like a dick, and I could see that, but I don't think that's scolding. It didn't seem like he was scolding. He was just like, I'm stating my position on this. That I don't think this shit works. You guys don't have to wear them.
No, he just comes off. He comes off
as a dick.
to me. He just comes off as a douchebag. You know, when I saw that happen, I was like, yeah, whatever. He's a douche. But now he's trying to put into law that there can be no abortions after 15 weeks.
15 weeks is what? How many months? I'm not. Is that
Divided by 4.
I can't divide, dude.
Not quite 4
3
months.
and a half. Yeah, 3.5.
So
Months,
at the
everything.
point that half the people even realize that they're pregnant.
Okay.
So that's where it's pretty divisive, is the fact that a lot of women don't realize they're pregnant until it's past 15 weeks.
Dude,
so by taking that
mean,
option away from them, you know, I don't think the government should have any say in that shit. That is someone's personal choice.
Did Paul freeze now?
I think so.
My God, his camera, his picture look quality looks at least far superior to John's. Even he's frozen though.
Yeah.
Cinematic in a weird way. He's got a 4K camera now. Yeah, I hear you. See,
Okay. No, I was just curious. Now that the CDC has told everybody they can relax guidelines, and like California, New York, and everybody are going the Ron DeSantis route, what's your thoughts on the whole COVID situation? Like,
What do you mean?
basically nobody cares anymore.
Well, my thoughts are, in my job, I still have to wear a mask, so I still wear a mask.
is that the policy now of the company?
Yeah.
Okay. Is that across the country or the world?
As
They're
far
global,
as,
right?
as far as I know, it is across the country. Because I think they don't want to upset the apple cart until it's 100% off the board. So they're not having some people wear it and some people not wear it. And I think that's their idea. When I wear mine, and if people get in the car and they're not wearing theirs, I don't care. Do what you want to do, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just doing it because it's my job.
I understand.
You know, so
I don't give anybody shit for wearing them still. But you know, after the last 2 years and that, like he said, the CDC relaxing and seeing New York State opening up in California is the one that really threw me off, because I thought they were going to be the diehard holdouts for a long time. But
I don't know how you could live in those regions and trust your government in trust the California government, trust the New York government. The numbers haven't gone down of contractions. The death rate is going down, but it's not nowhere near it was at any of its lowest points ever. Like, if that's the numbers you were going on and you were justifying lockdowns as a government, it makes no sense. And it goes back to my point of, how do you ever trust the government anything? The point of this was, the government was never going to be able to control any of this, regardless of who was in charge. And I think the measures they said this is what you need to do to stop it from happening were ineffective, but they were sticking to their guns. And I respect that. Whatever. I wasn't going to comply, especially with shooting the jab in my arm, but that's me. If you want to do it, do it. And that's always been my position. Do whatever you as an individual makes you feel comfortable.
Yep. And I mean, for me, I still wear mine. Mostly because at this point, I don't wear like one of those tight masks. I literally have a beard tarp that just hangs over my face.
I've seen it. It's pretty impressive.
I mean, that's all I wear.
It looks like a cooking apron for Bob's beard is what it exactly.
Yeah, pretty much, you know. So I wear that, and I can just like lift up the side and take a drink of water or whatever. Like, it makes other people feel comfortable. I've had COVID twice now. You know, if I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die. I mean, I'm not going out of my way trying to die, but
no,
you know, it's
statistically you could die doing your job
much
normally.
higher than anything else.
Yeah.
Well, according to science, Bob, you are superhuman now when it comes to fighting off COVID.
Yeah, well, we'll see how that goes. I mean, I haven't gotten any extra 5G from my jabs, and I haven't gotten any superhuman powers from COVID.
God, it'd be so cool though.
Like,
the
more you get
if COVID tries
the more
to enter
powers
your
you get.
If COVID tries to enter your body right now, your white blood cells are just going to do a bukkake on it.
You know what?
Fuck you.
I think I'm bukkake on it.
You've had it twice and you've got a vaccine. Go fuck yourself, COVID.
What a way to say that. I think Bob asked on like the last podcast we did, like, if you could have any superpower, what would you want? And we all kind of veered off and got lost on different topics. But now that we're talking about it again, like that baby from
Bukkake?
if I could get bukkake on at random, just a bunch of dudes shooting loads in my face. That's my superpower. I don't know how it's relevant to saving a bank. Oh, I get it. Like Rob, guys, this is a bank robbery. All right, superpowers activate. What are you doing? Distracting you until the cops get here. Oh, that's going to be the clip for this week's episode. But the baby from The Incredibles, the one that catches fire, baby Jack.
He has like 17 powers.
We talk about bukkake and you immediately go into a character named Jack.
Jack. I want the power to be able to internally set myself on fire and walk around like that, based on the 4 months of not having heat here in the last.
Right.
I want a video of Doug doing this, and it's silent, and then Safety Dance playing in the background.
Hold on.
Oh my goodness.
Hold on, because I'm gonna make this shit come true for you. I gotta get the camera angle set up right now. Don't. Yeah, go ahead and play the music in the background. Help me out, because I'll edit it later.
I'm not getting it copy. I'm not getting copyright.
Okay, then start singing it.
You can dance if you want to. You can leave your friends behind. Because if they don't jack, they don't jack with no friends of mine.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
All
All right,
gentlemen.
we ready to call it?
Yeah, I got to get dressed and get the child home.
Happy birthday, Angel.
Thank you. She is very tired because of all of yesterday's activities and running and being batshit crazy with her cousin. So you try. I'm sorry. I tried to take a nap yesterday, and her little cousin kept running in and trying to play hide and seek. And I said, "Listen to me. I have to fucking sleep. Either go in that room or stay the fuck out of this room." And they're like, and her cousin Lily's like, "We should listen to your dad. He sounds angry."
That's just his voice. Let's put this episode in a time capsule, and in 10 years, when she's 21, we'll have her on as a guest to react to this video.
And she'll be like, "Dad, I fucking hate you."
Why is Uncle Doug doing this over and over again?
I'm sure she'll know by then.
He saved everybody from boredom, sweetie.
All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter. Links in the description. Follow our other podcasts. All links in the description for Bob and Doug Saving from Boredom. And for Sibling Rivalry, thank you for joining us on this Sunday. Sorry we weren't better prepared. We'll be back at some point in the future. Hopefully John will have less shitty internet.
Hopefully next week with Johnny.
Yep. All right, have a good one.
Bye, guys.
Bye.